Let's talk about e-commerce store business models. So if you have an online store, you have to really choose what kind of business model you want to have if you want to make money on a consistent basis, okay? If you want to make money for 3 months or 6 months, okay, you can be random. But if you're serious about the really scaling your revenue over time, you got to have a business model that really drives client acquisition all the time. So let me give you an overview here. So when we talk about e-commerce business models, you have seven. Okay, you have seven that are really prominent, and then you might have three or four that are really are hybrids of the top seven. So you have B2C, business to consumer, B2B, business to business, B2B2C, business to business to consumer. You have B2G, business to government. You have a C2B, yeah, you have C2B, and that's a consumer to business. You also have a direct to consumer, so D2C. And finally, you have a C2C, consumer to consumer. I want to first talk to you about B2C. I mean, everybody knows B2C. Basically, B2C businesses sell directly to their end users. So anything you buy in an online store as a consumer, from wardrobe and household supplies to entertainment, this is done as part of a B2C transaction. Okay, pretty straightforward. And the decision making process for a B2C purchase is much shorter than a business to business purchase like B2B, especially for lower value items. You also have a B2B. So in a B2B business model, a business sells its product or service to another business. Sometimes the buyer is the end user, but often, and this happens a lot, the buyer resells the item to the consumer. So B2B transactions generally have a longer sales cycle, but higher order value, but they also have more recurring purchases. So that's kind of important to really remember. You also have B2B2C, so business to consumer. So B2B2C actually is a business model where a company sells its product or service in partnership with another organization to actually reach an end consumer. Unlike when you white label a product where a company rebrands an item to present it as its own, the end customer understands that they are buying a product or using a service from the original company. So you also have a B2G, so business to government. So business to government is actually a model, an e-commerce model, if you will, where your business will sell and market its products to government entities or public administrations, whether local, county, state or federal. So you are dealing with officials, okay? You are dealing with government officials. Now, this B2G model relies on the successful bidding of government contracts. So there's an element of bidding here. So what happens here is that a government agency will typically put up an RFP, okay, a request for proposal, and e-commerce businesses will have to bid on those projects. So while a more secure business model, B2G differs from other businesses or consumers because the bureaucratic nature of government agencies often leads to a much more glacial pace, which can limit potential revenue streams. Okay, it's a different process, if you will. You also have a C2C, so consumer to consumer. This is what happened if you look at stuff like Facebook Marketplace. So I'm sorry, not C2C, C2B. C2B businesses allow individuals to sell goods and services to companies. So here, a site might enable customers to post the work they want to be completed and have businesses bid for the opportunity. So affiliate marketing services would also be considered C2B, okay? And so the C2B e-commerce model's competitive edge is actually in pricing for goods and services. And this approach gives consumers the power to name their prices or have businesses directly compete to meet their needs. You also have a D2C. So D2C, this is a direct to consumer business model. Here, you are selling a product directly to end customers without the need of third-party wholesalers or online retailers. So, as opposed to other business models such as B2B2C, there is no middleman between the consumer and a business. Okay, so that's D2C. And finally, you have consumer to consumer. Here, you have a platform or a marketplace, if you will, such as eBay, that connects consumers to other consumers so they can exchange goods and services. So, what are the hacks here? By the way, for C2C, the platform makes money through commission. So, anytime there is a transaction, they make a cut of the revenue, of the transactional revenue. So, what are the hacks here? What are the effective methods for e-commerce innovation? If you're thinking about business model, you have a white label, okay? You have private label, you have wholesaling, you have drop shipping, and you also have subscription service. So I want to first talk about white label. So white labeling, I think I just explained that a little earlier. Basically, you have a company that brands and sell a product under its own name and logo, but it is manufactured or purchased from a third-party distributor. This can help boost brand visibility while minimizing manufacturing costs. So, white labeling is popular within heavily reproduced industries such as fashion and cosmetics. You also have private label. So, a private label product is actually one that a retailer gets produced by a third party but sells under its own brand name. Okay. So, the retailer controls everything about the product or products. That includes the product specs, how it's packaged, and everything else besides. Okay. So, it's all about having control over the whole process. So private label products are then delivered to the retailer to sell. And as far as consumers are concerned, they are the company's own brand products. You also have wholesaling. So wholesale e-commerce is a B2B e-commerce model where instead of, let's say, selling your products individually to consumers, you sell them in bulk and at a discount to other businesses, essentially as a middleman between the manufacturer and the distributor or retailer. So, in a wholesaling approach, a retailer will typically offer its products at a significant discount all the time. If you want to win business, you got to really reduce the price. You got to really like slash the cost. You also have drop shipping and subscription services. If you're thinking about, let's say, a better way to get into a business model. Let me explain further. So basically, what happens here is that you have so when you think about drop shipping, what is the most important thing to remember this year anyway? So the cool thing about drop shipping is that you have flexibility. If you are an e-commerce entrepreneur, you're really keeping flexibility. So typically, drop shippers market and sell items fulfilled by a third-party supplier like AliExpress or Printful. Okay, and what happens here is that drop shippers act as a middleman by connecting buyers to manufacturers, and easy to use tools can allow users to integrate inventory from suppliers worldwide for their storefronts. So again, here you are retaining flexibility. Okay, you also have subscription service. This is another area that you might want to explore. So basically, as early as the late 1600s, I mean, we're speaking 3 or 4 centuries back, publishing companies in England used a subscription model to deliver books monthly to their loyal customers. Okay, as early as the 1600s. That's really how far back things go. So with e-commerce, businesses are going beyond periodicals and fruit of the month clubs. Okay, today virtually every industry has seen the arrival of subscription services to bring convenience and savings to customers, especially if you are trying to build a community. If you're trying to really make sure that those customers are loyal to your brand, having a subscription service is actually a great way to solidify the ties, to cultivate better relationships, and to also stabilize your revenue base because those subscription they they actually trigger dues every single month. So you have a recurring source of revenue every single month, and you actually tap into that revenue for to actually invest in other areas of your business. One thing I need to also say is that when it comes to drop shipping, you just need to understand that customer service and shipping are critical. Even though you are outsourcing everything, the customer still believe that you are the one producing the item. So customer service is going to be quite essential. You are still responsible for making sure your customer is getting the product or service on time and in good quality too. So when you think about the e-commerce store business model, let me really give you some ideas about selection. How do you select your e-commerce business model this year? I think I've given you 7 business models, but how do you choose which one you should go for? First of all, what are you selling, right? Your product or services will determine the kind of business model you should really go for. An advantage of the online marketplace is that there will always be a market for what you want to sell. You just need to know exactly what it is, okay? It's one of those things where in this economy, it's all about how you position yourself. So before your business can take off, you need to understand what it is currently being sold online, and what you are interested in tapping into. You have physical products, you have digital goods, you have services also. So if you think about physical products, those are the most commonly sold commodity on e-commerce stores, and they often achieve the highest sales. From car parts to novels to electronics and gadgets, your entry into the online market will not be difficult if you know what product you want to build. You also have digital goods. So, as the world moves further into a digital marketplace, selling digital goods and products has never been easier. And I'm not just talking about selling on Etsy. Okay, you can sell on Amazon, but on also on your own website. So, the thing is, because of the nature of digital goods, what you can sell and how much it is actually determined almost entirely by your business. If you want to sell an ebook, a web design, as long as you're not infringing on any copyrights, the world is actually up for grabs, really. You also have digital goods. So, you also have services. So, basically, because we are now in the digital marketplace, basically selling services online has become easier and easier and easier. So, before online marketplaces, selling services typically occurred through newspaper ads or word of mouth. Now, service based businesses can create their own websites to market themselves. Okay. Furthermore, the popularity of marketplaces such as Facebook Marketplace, Etsy, and Amazon allows for accessible advertising avenues. It just takes a few clicks to find a group looking for just the kind of services you actually may offer. So that's really fantastic. You also have to ask yourself who your customer really is, okay? Who are you looking to serve? So consider the expectations of your customers when purchasing the type of new product you want to sell. So you are most likely to succeed if you understand their behaviors and habits and find ways to improve them or save money. So to accomplish this, you'll need to look for pain points in how things are currently done at your company. And this is an opportunity for innovators to carve out a space to improve customer relations and also overall satisfaction. So that's really important. Also, what are you capable of offering? In other words, what do you know better than anyone else? I'm still talking to you about the kind of business model you need to choose, okay? And the questions you need to really think about. So build around your existing strengths and the pieces that are energizing to you. Be realistic about what elements you can do yourself and what you will need to find help for. So, uncovering your limitations can be challenging, but it will help you make better long term decisions. And also, you want to think about what is your best products. So, depending on your products, different models will serve you better than others. For example, if you are, let's say, if you are manufacturing your own products, you may want to consider wholesaling or subscriptions to help cover production costs and break even more quickly. As, as- Sorry about that, especially if you are trying to scale, okay? So if you are a distributor of other people's, not problems, other people's products, you want to invest more heavily into direct marketing and strategies to grow your customer base faster. Another question you want to ask yourself is what is your positioning? So, when it comes to choosing the right business model for your e commerce store, your position is going to really help you big time. Because the thing is that you have to understand that this economy is changing all the time. You had people entering the market. You have economic shifts happening. You have shifts happening to people's priorities, people's interest. Think about what happened a couple of years ago during COVID. People changed their priorities right away. Okay, and something similar might happen. I mean, who knows what the future holds? Okay, so you want to really find the right positioning for your brand. You understand what makes your product better, but will consumers do the same thing too? So what you want to do is you want to evaluate your competition and make sure it is clear why your product is the best choice. In other words, what is your product's unique value proposition? What is your company's unique selling proposition? So for you to really sell big time, you got to have a clear idea about the USP. Okay. Now, are you going to compete on price? Are you going to compete on selection? Are you going to compete on convenience? Your unique value should be clear from your back end processes, warehousing, marketing, and your website's shopping experience. So overall, I want you to really think about the fact that basically, if you have the right business model, you are going to position yourself to make sales on a consistent basis. Okay, because in recent years, the e-commerce market has exploded in popularity and innovation. So if you have the proper business model, you're able to capture a part of that explosion, if you will, quote unquote explosion, and really capture it in a scalable manner. Okay, especially if you want to really sell internationally, having that ability to tweak things, to change things, can really help you big time. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about the e-commerce store business model that drive client acquisition. You have overview. I spoke about the overview, the hacks, the selection, and now the closing remarks. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.